In this Soulsborne-y, Metroidvania-ish 2D action platformer, you play as Grey Irma, a Clayborn soldier on a mission of revenge against your former boss, looking for answers and a purpose to your existence. The pros, the core gameplay. It is the best thing about this game. I had ridiculous amounts of fun playing this one. They do a great job of simplifying a lot of other aspects of this game to funnel you back into the action as quickly as possible. The story and character interactions are brief, the upgrade systems are simple and quick to assign, there are no consumables or much item management you need to do. Everything in this game is to support the gameplay and to get you back to exploration and combat as quickly as possible, which is very much my style. Rewards aggression in high difficulty settings. This game can be brutal if you're not disciplined. Every encounter has a real chance of taking you out, and sometimes you have to pull out some serious John Wick moves to survive. So if your John Wick game isn't on point, they give you a couple ways to lower the difficulty. But what I love is that they punish you quite severely for taking this route. You're able to equip a gemstone that greatly reduces damage taken, but lowers your character movement and attack speed. You're able to choose between a full moon and a ravenous moon. The ravenous moon increases enemy aggression and damage, but also grants you more bone powder and more spite bonus. Speaking of spite bonus, these are buffs that are lost upon death or unlocking a new dark mirror, which will enable you to teleport, save, and respawn there. This creates a situation where you need to make a decision. Do you forfeit all of your buffs in order to save and respawn nearby if you die? Or keep going, becoming stronger and more difficult to kill? I personally chose to unlock every mirror and forfeit my buffs, but I thought it was a cool mechanic. Lastly, Ichor is used to both cast spells and to heal, but the neat thing they did in this game is your spells only use the light gray bar, while healing uses both the light gray and dark gray bar. Meaning, if you choose to retreat and heal before using your spells, you'll forfeit your ability to use those spells. Ideally, you want to use your spells before you heal, tempting you to stay in the fight a little longer. Again, just a great design choice in my opinion. Level design. The game has great flow and exploration happens naturally, as there are very few dead ends. Every time I reached a locked area, there was an alternate path to explore, so I never really had to just turn around and go back the way I came. I appreciated the shortcuts that opened up once you completed an area of the map. I especially appreciated the ones that helped you get back to a boss quickly. They don't shoehorn difficulty by forcing you to go through the same path you already battled through to get back to a boss, which would be especially brutal as you must recover your grave without dying to salvage your resources. Story. It feels like a mix between Kill Bill and Memento, if you've seen those movies, as there's a major event that changed your life and the lives of those around you that you have no recollection of. And you're on a mission of vengeance to take down your old boss who you blame for your current situation. It's not clear what happened, who you can trust, or even if you're really the protagonist. I really liked how they presented the story, very ambiguous and light on exposition. You're really left in the dark for most of the game. Not for everyone, but I loved it. Boss fights. Grand in scale like any good boss fight should be. The difficulty is greatly raised, and each boss typically requires a unique approach. Also, your character has personal baggage with each boss, giving you that extra motivation, as there's more on the line than just this fight. And there's only a handful of bosses, making the experience that much more unexpected and suspenseful. Now for the cons. The map. This is the biggest con for me. The map is pretty brutal. In general, it looks unappealing. You only get 5 markers that are oversized and identical, and it unlocks in chunks instead of exactly where you've been, so it can be hard to determine if you fully explored an area. I almost stopped using the map altogether, other than warping, which was also more cumbersome than it had to be. They don't include the names of the warp mirrors on the map. You can't zoom in or out to see the area around it when selecting a mirror, so I found it difficult to find the right warp mirror. A map unlocking system that was more specific to where the character has actually been, smaller customizable markers, and the names over the warp mirrors would have made this map much more usable. Monotone presentation. The whole thing felt like one big level, as the environments look and feel quite similar. The same ambient song plays the entire time, other than your safe house and boss fights. The enemies, that do have different attack patterns, still felt quite similar, and my technique didn't change much when encountering a new enemy type. Also, you can't remap the control scheme, which didn't bother me, but I could see some people take an issue with this. Essentially, they present you with the game and you either dig it or you don't. There's not much that changes that's going to make much of an impact on the experience. A deeper soundtrack, more unique enemies, better defined environments, and a mappable control scheme would have changed the game quite a bit, but likely would have resulted in an improved experience for most. As for achievements, I did some screwing around after I beat the final boss, so the playthrough actually took me closer to 16 hours. I earned 25 achievements for a total of 785 points added to my gamer score, which is not too bad for one playthrough. And now for the grade. I gotta go A+. I know that the con section touches on some pretty important elements of a game, but I absolutely loved Moonscars. I like the gameplay and combat so much that I'm actually glad they kept everything pretty consistent through the whole game, and kept the supporting elements basic and in the background. The game is far from perfect, but my grades are completely biased and based solely on how much fun I had playing through a game, and I could not put this one down. Let me know in the comments if you played this one and what you thought of it. And if you haven't, I hope this review gave you enough information on whether it's worth your time. Anyway, that's it for this review. Stay safe, and I'll catch you on the next one.